My BF cheated on me, and I don't know how to cope with this. Please offer some advice. This can be a bit long, but I wanted to tell everything so that you all can make judgment based on this. My BF, M25, asked me, F21, out in December 2022. I said yes, and we started dating. We went on one date and stayed the night together. Didn't have sex as I was on my period. He is very attractive and was very respectful when asking me out. We weren't officially BF and GF, but I told him I love you first within the first 2 weeks. And shortly the next month, January 2023, he said he loved me too. February, we were in a long-distance relationship as he was in his home country and I was in mine. A brief summation of his dating history: he had one GF when he was 18, and they dated for 3 years when he cheated on her. She found out and left him. He got depressed, engaged in illegal stuffs, and basically did hookups with almost 15 to 20 women for almost 4 years. He smokes, chews betel nut powder, and drinks a lot. As for me, he was my first BF and I was a virgin when meeting him. He met me and decided to stop doing everything as he fell in love again after so many years. Everything was going well. We video call every night. He said he wants to marry me, introduce me to his mother, and have kids with me. My first time was with him. It wasn't great as he didn't give aftercare. When I told him that it hurt me, he started giving me aftercare. He comes from a broken family. His dad was very abusive to him, to his brother, and to his mom. He isn't very financially stable too. We were very serious about each other and had planned a future together. He would always be there for me and told me that I was beautiful and that he loved me every single day. He made wildflower bouquets and wrote sweet little notes for me and gave me very thoughtful gifts too. I loved him a lot. He came back to my country in February 2023, and once he told me about his brother, M32, planning on cheating on his fiancée, F29, with her friend Kat, F27. And my BF said, "My brother said us men can't eat the same food every day, haha." This made me overthink about us, and I thought, let me put it to test. He again goes back to his country, July 2023, and I made a fake Instagram account posing as a pretty girl and texted him. He fell for it, saying he doesn't have a GF, knows good hotels around here, can drink and stay for the night. I told him to meet me at a coffee shop. He foolishly shows up and I video call him showing him that it was me. I wanted to break up with him. Then his cousin's sister texts me saying that she was in on it too, and she tagged along to get free drinks from this girl. He too was like, "I was just lying to get free drinks from her, you know I love you very much." I got convinced because of them both and took him back. This also made me feel very insecure as I trusted him a lot, and now the trust is there no more. But he cried and told me he will do everything to gain my trust back. I asked him if there was any other girl that he has done anything with, and he said no. Everything went by well up until November 2023. I was with him in his house on his bed. I went through his phone to check if he is cheating on me. I found something. From December 2022, May 2023, he had been texting with 10 different girls. 7 of them he was casually flirting with, and the other 3 he had some serious connections with. Let me name those serious 3 as Kat, aforementioned, and Lana. In January 2023, he went to a club with his best friend Jack and Kat. They all got drunk. Kat kissed my BF and he grabbed her boobs. He then felt guilty and gave her, his words not mine, to Jack, who already has a GF, to FK. Kat got obsessed with my BF and gave him flowers and chocolates for Valentine's, which he says he didn't accept. Kat knew that him and I were dating. In February 2023, he was flirting with a friend of Kat's, Anne, where she sent him pics of her in a bra, and he responded with, "Take that black thing off." In April 2023, he was texting another girl, Lana, saying that she will always hold a special place in his heart and that Kat is just a friend of his, nothing more. In August 2023, Kat messages me asking what is my relationship with my BF. My BF advised me to not say anything as she might say this to his strict brother. She drunk dials my BF. My BF leaves the room to yell at her and comes back. I didn't think of anything at that time. He also texts a female friend of his during this time and jokingly says, "Let's not make love, but we can definitely FK." So there are 7 random girls, Kat and Lana, the girl in the fake Instagram account I made, his female friend, and Kat again. I saw all of this and broke down. I did nothing but love him unconditionally. I was super loyal to him, and this was what I got. I slapped him out of anger and left his room. He apologizes once again, saying that they all happened in the past anyways, and that we weren't serious in the beginning. I mean, I understand the first few months, but what about afterwards? What about when I asked him if there were any other girls and he swore on his mom saying there weren't any? I broke up with him, and he continuously pursues me till January 2024. I decided to give him one last chance, and I told him to give me his FB act. He does. I check a text he sent Kat, where she wishes him happy birthday, and he, instead of replying thank you, he replies with, "Kat, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. I am sorry I wasn't a better man for you. I will always hold our memories close to my heart and never forget you till the day I die. I wish things would be different. Maybe not in this lifetime, but definitely in the next one we will be together." I broke down again. He apologizes, saying it is just his way of apologizing to a woman he did wrong once. He said he doesn't want her to be his next life GF, and he actually wants me. I break up with him again. He spam calls and messages me begging me to come back, and that he didn't think that this would be a big deal. I completely lost all my trust in him, and I regretted everything. I hated Kat, but I mostly hated him too. He says he will not do this again, and that he swears on his mom that he will improve, and to give him last chance. I was still in love with him, and I admit I was new to being in a relationship. I did a foolish mistake again by giving him one more chance, but to be honest, he hasn't had any fuck-ups. No girls, no flirting, and full access to his social media accounts. He says he doesn't want to mess up again and lose me. I asked my friends and relatives about this, and they say to break up with him for good. I still love him, and he is very chivalrous too, which I love about him the most. But I lost all my trust and compassion, and I sometimes stay up late night thinking, how could he do this to me? Now to the next story, story 2. Possible cheating. Flirtatious and disrespectful evidence found. Long story as short as I can make it. Some context. My husband and I have known each other for 15 years, and we've been married for 5. We were off and on throughout high school. We were going to get a divorce last year, but decided to work things out in NOV. We moved across the street from his job in Feb after we sold our house. He started talking about a female co-worker that he'd never mentioned before. She's been working with him for 2 years, and said that she was interested in being my friend. She's never reached out to me. I started having weird feelings about her, and I even told him that. I even found shoulder-length/wavy/black hair in his laundry. I know what she looks like. I have dyed red hair. He has black super short hair, and our daughter is blonde. But kept it to myself. BC, I felt crazy. I found more hair about a month later. Still kept it to myself. The night of July 8th, I had such a bad gut feeling about something going on. So I guessed his Apple Watch password and went through their texts. It was very weird. Seemed too cozy and not friend-like at all. She had actually called him as I picked him up from work the week before, and that's where the text strand started. Don't believe that was the first text. She said she felt awkward for calling and was worried she caused drama. Why feel awkward or worried that you might have caused drama if you're just friends? He said, verbatim, "I'm sorry, hon." She fished for a compliment, and he said verbatim, "You look good." He at some point told her verbatim, "Yeah, after 5 only call if it's an emergency." But seriously, you didn't create or start any problems over here for calling, and eventually said this verbatim. She gave me sloppy toppy later that night, so I think you made her jealous though, so honestly. Call me if that's what Emma get. When I did finally confront him, he said that was a joke between friends. TF? I sat on this information until Saturday night. During the week, I didn't say anything about what I found, but I did ask hypothetical questions using stuff from their convo, and a TikTok even helped me realize something. The TikTok was about cheating and how a boyfriend never admitted to cheating on his GF with her BFF until the BFF Una-lived herself. He offered his answer without me even asking and said, "I wouldn't tell you either. No way. Why would I admit to wrongdoing?" I later asked him if something ever happened IRL, accident or not. Would he tell me? And he said, absolutely not. I don't know what to do. I can't trust him. He's done similar things to this over the years, and unfortunately given me quite a few reasons not to trust him. He's the type of person to only care about friends and family. He doesn't have much sympathy or empathy. That's just part of his personality. I'm so confused by all of this. This isn't like him at all. We had a 3-hour conversation about what I found, and it took me 20 minutes to convince him to let me read the text that I found, took a video, because he refused to look at the video. Said he didn't remember what was there, didn't care what was there, but he knew he messed up and it was bad. Earlier in the week on Tuesday night, we had a brief conversation about the girl, and I asked to look at his phone. He got mad and refused. I told him I didn't want him talking to her, didn't want her calling or texting him. No social media, nothing unless it was work-related. He told me at one point that they were only friends on Instagram and never messaged, but Saturday night at the end of our convo, I asked him to show me her Instagram, and he did. I asked him to block her, but before he did, I wanted to see the messages. He went to the messages, and I saw her name, PFB, and that those messages were from 10 weeks ago. I again asked to see them, and he moved his hand in front of his phone before I could even see a message, just saw the text boxes, and he quickly deleted them. I told him that made this all a lot worse. All he said was sorry. Every time he goes to work, I'm a mess. I'm worried he's only sorry BC he got caught. If this was your situation, what would you do? How would you feel? Someone said I should post this here too. Next story, Story 3. Finally got some kind of justice. Well, after 9 weeks of me looping with frustration at the AP who refused to open my FB messages when I contacted her after finding about her and my WH Sewell affair, I finally got my say. The same AP who bullied me severely at 16 and as a cruel twist of fate would have it, my WH randomly slept with her 17 years ago, not realizing who she was. We went to MC today and I broke down telling the counselor how my 16-years-old self who was traumatized has resurfaced due to just finding all this out and opened all my old wounds up, and I was heartbroken as there was so much I wanted to say to her and had spent 27 years too scared to say it. Then found this out meant my head had literally gone. She told me I had to take my 16-years-old self by the hand, and if I saw her, which was a possibility today as I had to catch the same bus as she does to go to a meeting, I would stand up for that 16 years old and tell her what I thought of her for hurting that younger me. I waited for the bus and the absolute vile excuse of an ugly human waltzed past me. I'm not religious, but I had prayed that if there is a God out there, please let me see her, and there she was. I walked straight up to her in front of others and called her name, and she span round. I saw the color drain from her face as she pretended she didn't know who I was until I pointed out the college connection, the bullying, my husband who she had slept with knowing he was engaged with a child and a baby on the way. Everyone stood in shock as I told her exactly what she was. She pushed blame, lied a few times and tripped herself up and denied things till I fired back and caught her in her own web. She stood in shock, tried to do damage limitation, push blame on me, my WH, until I said, "You're a disgusting person. Women don't do that to each other. You knew he was with me, and you purposely asked him to leave me. As a woman, I could never do that to another woman. You're a disgrace, and every woman here will find you a vile individual." She put her head down, then said, "I've been cheated on." My reply, "So you, knowing that pain, thought it was absolutely acceptable to do that to another innocent woman? That's sick. You're a sociopath." I called her some delightful names and told her what she was. I then, as a parting shot, said, "I hope your fiancé, who you have child to, does this to you and finishes you off. You deserve it like all the other women who do this." She saw the bus door open and said she had to go and ran. I actually laughed and felt instantly like this huge weight had lifted. Everyone was staring at her as they got on the bus with her, and as I got on the phone to let my mum know the news of what I had done, the sicko went past me on the bus as I was mid-laughing and put her head down. I then saw the most beautiful, biggest shooting star I've ever seen, and it felt like for once I had changed myself and my life in that one meeting. Me and the W have been working very hard, and tonight when I told him, he broke down and said how devastated he is for me that it came to this and how disgusted in himself he is. I do feel like we have hope to keep moving forward. I feel like the kid in the movie who fantasizes about getting strong and confronting the bully, and the ending is when they finally get that justice. I will never get over what they did, and having dealt with him for 9 weeks, telling him exactly what I think of him, getting that chance to stand face to face and see how ugly she was, and to get her told was actually the thing I really needed to help move forward. Today has been the best day in 9 weeks, and I will sleep tonight with a bit of peace knowing I got strong. Now, last story, story 4. I wish my sister would go away and not come back. I'm so sorry to her for saying this, but it's so hard having her around me and my family. I, 24, decided to take her, 20, in with me when she was kicked out of her boyfriend's house and living with her dad's family. I knew that she suffered from depression, so when her stepmom called me saying she was at a loss with my sister because she was acting a certain way, I told her, maybe it's better if she lives with me. Our door is open for her. Little did I know, she suffers from not only depression, but bipolar depression and schizophrenia, possibly borderline personality disorder. It's been almost a year of having her here, and just recently, within the last 4/5 months, she's going through a nervous breakdown that I can't fix or help her with at all. She's refusing her medications and refusing to go to the doctor because she claims she's an adult and decided that she's all better, but I know that's not true. She goes into these catatonic states and stares at me with my newborn and partner sometimes, says that my baby and partner scare her because they're unfamiliar to her. She also leaves without any warning in the middle of the night for a walk, doesn't lock the door. The scariest thing she did recently was have a whole fit for no reason and completely trashed her room. I asked her to calm down because she scared my son awake, and she just gave me this dead stare. I was honestly so scared she would hurt me, I just closed the door and locked myself in my room with my son. I've been begging for our mom's help, but she says I should have never helped my sister in the first place, and it's my fault that I'm in this situation now. I've been begging her dad to help me take care of her, and he says, well, I tried for 2 whole days, and she didn't like it here, so 2 dead ends there. My sister also tells me how much she hates living with my little family and wishes she could just be alone in the world with no one around to bother her. When I brought her in, she was happy to talk to us all. She played games on her Switch, watched movies, danced, and listened to music. She even had friends and would go on dates. Now she's this empty shell of who she was, and I worry that she'll either hurt herself or hurt us when she's angry/scared. I tried to tell her social worker she might need to be hospitalized, but the SW said my sister has to go voluntarily or do something drastic like actually hurt us or herself to be taken to one. I hate being constantly on edge, worrying about whether she's coming back from her walks at 3 a.m. or not, if she's going to snap and hurt us, if I'm going to come home to a dead body when we leave for work. Sometimes I wish I hadn't said anything to her stepmom. I thought I was helping, and I'm sure I did in the beginning, but now it's all too much for me. I also sometimes wish she wouldn't come back from her walks. I wouldn't wish in a million years for anything bad to happen to her, of course, but I am so drained and constantly stressed that I think if she wasn't here, maybe it would be better for me and my family. I took my younger sister in almost a year ago to try and help her get through her depression, and she has just recently been going through a nervous breakdown after not taking her meds. No one will help me, and I'm so stressed with her being around me and my family that I wish she would just go away and not come back.